Good afternoon, everybody. Shavua Tov. Welcome to a new week and welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm Rolene Marks, your host, bringing you the top stories from Israel and the surrounds every Monday to Thursday on this channel and also on YouTube. We're at the Israel Brief. So if you want to help get Israel's story out to the masses, news you might not hear in the mainstream media, please give us a big help and click on the subscribe button. But let's take a look at those massive headlines making news. And I don't get to say this often, so I'm very excited to say it today. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. On Thursday afternoon, just after we finished completing last week's brief, we received the tremendous news that a peace agreement had been signed between the United Arab Emirates and the State of Israel. Now, we don't forget that Israel has peace agreements with Jordan and Egypt, but this is massive. This is a potential game changer, not just for the two countries, but for the region. So let's unpack it. Let's take a look at those important details and the latest updates. So in essence, this is not necessarily a peace agreement, but a normalization agreement, because the two countries have not been in a state of war or enmity. The United Arab Emirates is not like a country like Syria that we would regard as an enemy, but this normalization agreement, now called the Abraham Accords, brings together the descendants of Abraham, his Muslim sons and his Jewish sons. It brings them together in peace. And what this means is not just increased cooperation economically, diplomatically, innovation-wise and communication-wise. This also means that this could set the path for future normalization agreements between Israel and other Gulf countries. And it does look like there are other countries set to follow. There are murmurings that the United Arab Emirates may be followed by Bahrain, by Oman, perhaps even Saudi Arabia and Morocco as well. And what is truly astounding is that we have heard from the president of Lebanon speaking in his native French, saying that he is open to the possibility of discussing peace with Israel. So this is a game changer for the region, because we face a common enemy in the form of the hegemonic terror sponsor Iran. And as you can imagine, not every country is very happy about this agreement. The Palestinians are extremely unhappy. They say their cause has been forgotten, and they have recalled their ambassador with immediate effect. But they fail to remember that this could actually set the stage for a future Palestinian state, but they have to also come to the party. We've also had words from Iran who say that the UAEs will be consumed on the fire of Zionism, and of course terror entities like Hamas also expressing their dismay. Not to forget Erdogan, the president of Turkey, who expressed his disgust, but he forgets that there are diplomatic relations between Turkey and Israel. So where to from here? What are all the big developments? Well, it's very exciting, and it has been extremely moving to see the response of Emiratis to this peace. Israelis have been absolutely jubilant. The municipal building of Tel Aviv, and of course we say it's not official until the Tel Aviv municipal building lights up with your flag, lighting up with the flags of the United Arab Emirates and Israel to celebrate this. And a little bit of fake news on social media in the form of having the Burj Khalifa lit up in the form of the Israeli flag. That didn't happen in reality, but it's a very lovely sentiment. And the exchange of warm words, welcoming words by Emiratis and Israelis on social media has been something very beautiful to see. This is the way forward. This is the start of a new Middle East. So where do we stand at the moment? Well, yesterday, Israel's Foreign Minister Gabi Ashkenazi and the Emirati Foreign Minister exchanged a phone call. This is historic because this is the first time the phone lines have been opened, and now the lines of communication via the phone, via the internet, that's all been open. Any restrictions on websites have been lifted. Israel and the United Arab Emirates are in discussions about direct flights between the two countries. We are anticipating a lot of commerce and a lot of travel between the two countries. And of course, it's nothing if an Israeli pop star doesn't head off to Dubai, and Omer Adam, one of Israel's top pop stars, is headed to Dubai to get the party between the two countries started. So really a momentous occasion, some desperately needed good news this year. And the latest news coming in, our President Reuven Rivlin has officially invited the Crown Prince of the United Arab Emirates to visit Israel, and we are looking very, very forward, once travel there resumes, to welcoming our new Emirati friends to the state of Israel. But it hasn't all been celebrations. We have to turn our attention to the south, where terror entities within the Gaza Strip continue to send arson balloons from the Gaza Strip into Israel, setting fire to thousands of dunams of very, very valuable agricultural land and nature reserve. This was coupled with rockets that were fired from the Strip into southern Israel, into the town of Sderot in the early hours of Sunday morning, and the IDF has been striking targets within the Strip. It must also be noted that at a time where many hospitals around the world are facing shortages of oxygen and helium to treat coronavirus patients, Hamas and other terror entities are using this to perform acts of terror, which are a war crime. And yesterday, the Defense Minister Benny Gantz saying that we will not rest until we bring quiet to the south. And where is Israel standing as far as coronavirus is concerned? Well, the infections, according to the latest stats, have started to come down. And yesterday, civil aviation resumed, at least for 20 countries, where Israel opened the skies to allow visitors from these countries. Of course, these are countries that are considered green zones. Also, visitors would have to be coronavirus free. And we now are looking forward to welcoming visitors from countries like Denmark, Austria, Canada, New Zealand, Slovenia, and several others that have been cleared. Israelis have been cleared to visit countries like Bulgaria, Croatia, and Greece, and Cyprus looks set to be on the cards. But let's take a look at those stats. Since the start of the global pandemic, Israel has seen 93,691 cases of coronavirus with 690 fatalities. At the moment, there are 23,939 people battling the virus, with 398 in serious condition, and 69,092 people have made full recoveries. So we hope that the trajectory of a downward spiral in infections really continues. Those are the top stories making headlines, and we will keep you updated as more news as a result of these historic peace agreements go forward. But don't forget, you can check out our content online at www.layoftheland.online. You can read Martine Alperstein's article about a phenomenal centennial. Her name is Phyllis Lader. She's quite a lady. Read all about her there, or on our Facebook page at the local site. Give us a like, give us a follow, and share our content. Hey, it's free for you to share. Don't forget our channel at the Israel Brief. Click on that big red subscribe button and follow us on Twitter at Lay of the Land with the number 5. Our community there is growing, and we would love you to be a part of it. So with all the excitement taking place in our neighborhood, I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief. We'll speak again tomorrow.